Thank you. This guy, like, what I am impressed that he's Punjabi. This guy was born here, raised up here. So, go ahead.
I was born here. I'm a first generation born in California. My parents both immigrated here in the early 70s. And I like what Ram said earlier, especially about education. Growing up in the American school system, there wasn't a whole lot about Sikhs in the books. It's true. There wasn't much about our own faith and what our values were and how we came here and what we had done. And growing up, I never knew much. I never knew much other than what I heard from my mom and dad. I grew up in Roseville. There weren't too many Indians there, not too many Sikhs, or for that matter, any type of Indians. And there wasn't that many minorities as well. So it was difficult growing up. And even throughout junior high and high school, there was still a lack of information. It wasn't until I went to college that you get the ability to write about things you really like. And one of the things that I enjoyed writing about was about being Indian, about being a Sikh. So I would go into where the humanitarian section was, and we tried to pull out books, but there were a lack of books. In the late 80s, early 90s, there weren't a whole lot of books about us. So right about then, the internet had came out. It wasn't that fast back then, but more and more information started coming up on electronic media. And I started getting curious, started going to the Gurdwara more often. We had just gone on Sundays, but you have to get out there and you got to want to know. So being a Sikh, if I know how difficult it is to find out about who we are, how much more difficult is it for people who live in the community who are not Sikhs to understand who we are? And I like the fact that SCOPE is going to be an organization that's going to help spread education to our community about who we are and how we coexist in the population and what we do and what we provide for our communities. Being an Indian American, I think it's important that we get involved in the political process and that we be community activists. I'm proud that being an Indian that I've decided to make a decision to run for the Board of Washington Hospital. It's a community hospital. It's funded by your tax dollars. If you live in Union City, Fremont, or Newark and you pay taxes, well, that hospital belongs to you. I have a simple message that if elected to the board, that we can hold people in the hospital accountable, including myself, if on the board, that we have further transparency, that we can be as open as we can and as clear to the public with what it is that we can provide for our patients and for our administration. We want to make sure that we make the hospital more accessible. And lastly, in tough times, we have to make sure that, hey, we have care that's available for people and it's affordable. That's the true meaning of community. Your vote's important. I urge you to make your decisions carefully. Just being a Sikh's not enough. You can vote for anybody. But make sure your vote's intelligent and you give everybody an equal chance. One way you can do that is you can go on www.ravijohal.com. We have an internet site. Our message is there. From the beginning, I promised the community that I'd run a clean campaign. I'm not going to sit up here and talk about the other candidates. Many of you may have seen that the fear factor. We're talking about the fear factor, right? You can only fear something if it's true. And if something comes out, there was a mill piece that it was kind of a hit piece, an attack piece. And I don't fear it because it wasn't true. The message in there was incorrect, and it was actually sent out by other members of the hospital, other members of the board. So if you got that message, I still urge you to go to ravijohal.com so you can understand what it is that we want to provide. And my best intent is for the community and for everybody in our community, not just the Sikhs, but everybody in our community. And I hope I can earn your vote on November 4th. Thank you very much.